you ready to listen? All right. When the police stop you in the middle of the road for the purpose of a breath test, what we're doing tonight, you have an obligation to stop. Okay? If you're not prepared to stop, that makes you a dangerous driver. I'm going to refer you for a medical review. That means that you're going to have to basically repass your driver's licence and show us that you are fit to hold a driver's licence. Because, sorry, as a police member, I'm not going to stand in the middle of the road and have someone like you potentially run me over. My family are expecting me to go home tonight, as is my colleague's family. He's got a wife and children at home. Shut up. They're expecting him to go home tonight, not be run over by someone because you nearly ran over a police officer. His excuse is he's scared of the police. Well, we're not going to buy that. That's not on.
Why wouldn't you be scared of the police? I guess that's coming from the police. You know what I mean? It's like bad guys saying, you shouldn't be scared of me, I'm just a thief, I'm just a this. People have their reasons. Definitely people who come from poor countries with more corrupt police. But besides all that, he pulled up, which was a good thing. Right? There's lots of other cars going past. If he is scared of the police, which he could be, he's allowed to just try to keep going and go, look, I don't need to be pulled up. Right? As it's just a random breath test area. Right? And so you got to be treated innocent until guilty. Right? There's no need to yell and scream and carry on and power trip on anything, is there, when it comes to things. And so you're meant to treat people innocent until guilty. So you're meant to assume what they're saying is true until you know it's not, even if you believe it's not. Right? Because when you start assuming all the time that everyone's just bullshitting, then you're going to run into a lot of problems, aren't you, people? Right? With assumptions. He didn't come up positive. Why didn't they do a drug test instead of straight away assuming that someone needs to go through another test? People who are scared of police, if that was true, you would make another issue to be more afraid of why you need to be, right? And that can make them even more nervous when you're a person that can be nervous very easy, you see. And so they'll go to a test and even fail that as they're more nervous now because of the actions that were taken towards them, the bullying actions of the police officer, in my opinion. You have to let me know in yours what you think when it comes to that. I understand what he has to say, but bullying people and assuming things can cause why people attack the police officers in the first place even more, because they start bullying others. Blacks used to do it, not blacks, police officers in America used to do it to blacks, extra bullying. We know what happened there, didn't we? And that's the same outcome. Now, why didn't they, after that, if I was that police officer, right, you'd say, look out, mate, you're being a bit dangerous. It's good that you pulled up. We're trying to pull you up. Pull off on the side there, right? You start off calm. You don't have to yell and scream. You get to the people to the side, definitely here in Australia where we have a lot of people that are mixed culture. Right? You get them to the side. After you get them to the side, you do the breath test straight away before you do any assumptions or start talking about things. Definitely if you're not very good at psychology, and you might just get angry. And when you get angry and upset, you might just power trip. Right? And that's why certain areas need to be good at standard psychology. And you pull them over and you do the breath test. You just ignore what they got to say and you do the breath test. Once they're drunk, or you do a drug test if you believe you need to do that next. As, you know, if you see things, you should use it, and things cost money. Definitely drug tests rather than the machine. It costs nothing. It's battery power. You get it. And that's why drug tests should be saved at certain times. They shouldn't just be thrown out at random times. They cost money. Right? And when they get thrown out at random times, you hear about it. They're not funded on times like this occasion, obviously, because they didn't have it or they didn't believe they needed to do it, as they're bullied enough, who knows, of their opinion, as I'm making my opinion now, that I'm not a professional in a certain job. When you're a professional in a certain job, you've got to make sure that you do your job right. Otherwise, you may lose your job. And these days, if everyone's the same, everyone copies, we get that. So when it comes to the drug test, they could have also, after that test, gone positive, you'd now go let him talk and do his thing, and you go, okay, that's no good. About you being afraid of police officers. There is bad police out there. Things like that happen. We're always fighting bad, and bad always seems to turn up and find ways to get in. But I'm not one of them. And so you keep going with your tests. You go, okay, do your drug test. As these police officers should have plenty of them, as they will use them at certain wise times like it needs to be. Even when you do that, you might find a 50-50 or less or a little more that you're wasting the test. But you're not wasting them on randoms. You don't need to. Definitely a test that's not 100% accurate. So you use it when you've got probability of using it, which would be in that case. And you'd use the test to find out if he's on drugs too. If that comes up negative, then he's more likely telling the truth about the police, wouldn't he? And you wouldn't have to have any more argument. What would you come after those conclusions? Would you go, more likely he's not? Or would you already got upset, made your conclusion before you got there and say you're an unfit driver, say you're dangerous, say shut up? Where's that coming from? So good, isn't it, people? If you want to be protected, you want to go home safe, well, so do we. And so it depends on how you treat the people, how they treat you collectively. So you've got to work together. That's all there is to it. But when you see collectively and you jump on YouTubes and jump on all around the world, even in the free world, as they call these Western countries, you'll find that most people do not trust the police or want to talk to the police much, as it's too much of a loophole, problems and power trippers. Anyway, we'll go back to the clip for a minute, eh? Please let me know what you think in comments.
He's got some issues. He's going to have to now repass his driver's licence, because I don't want to come out here and see this bloke again and he drives through me. My family are expecting me to go home tonight, and someone like this is not going to stop that happening. If he passes the review, he can keep driving. If he fails it, then, he might have to get a push bike.
That's no good. And what do you reckon, guys, when it comes to people failing their tests? Right? And people are finding these days that people with certain badges are allowed to fail their tests constantly, and we just get a punishment when we fail our test a little bit. And that's not right, is it? So what goes around comes around. You're best to show the point like a big daddy. And it's good. Some areas do, but most areas don't. When it comes to the weakest link and certain sectors, they're not meant to fail at all, because when they do, it's a big thing. It shames their family, right? Makes all the other people not want to be police officers and stuff like that, doesn't it? And then you put it out on TV because you're proud of what you do, that you can dominate in such ways. Or do you put it out on TV because you found out later on that perhaps you were right? Or did you make it right, as some people do in court cases? Anyway, have a good one and see you later.